Tip of the day from a former cult member. Got the right beauty filter this time. I wanted to talk about confession and privacy. I was in the cult now called Dwell Community Church, and it was called Dwell in the 90s when I was active, most active. Um, Xenos has this weird thing with Catholics. I bring this up because of how Catholics do confessionals. And I just think it's interesting that Xenos, like the McCallums, they really use Catholics as an example of how much Xenos does God better than them. So Xenos does God better than like everybody. Yeah. Yeah, that's definitely a thing. But yeah, they definitely use Catholics as an example all the time. And one of the like main things they do is they say the mediator. They don't like the confessional, the mediator, which I think is interesting because of how much Xenos, the brand, the family way, is the mediator between everyone and God there. It's like hard to get rid of that mediator in your head once you leave because they micromanage God so much there. That how do you even talk to God again after it's gone? You think God's gone out of your brain. No, it's just they're not micromanaging your brain anymore. It's a good time to decompress or something. Decompress. I know I got the word wrong. Uh, but it's a good time to reflect and think with yourself. Think with yourself without their voices in your head. Just your own. Just hear yours for a little while. But anyway, so yeah, they pick on them for that, but then they like abuse it. They abuse being a mediator there. And then they make fun of somewhat healthy. I don't know. I don't have a problem with how Catholics do it. They certainly don't do it like Xenos. And the privacy is weird. At least in a Catholic confessional, your whole church ain't gonna hear that. You can actually have some privacy in the place that they make fun of so much in Xenos. Catholic Church confessional, the Catholic Church in general, anything about the Catholics is wrong, and they have scripture to be like, here's how we do it right. We always do God right here, only here. But they make people confess the weirdest crap in front of everybody. All right, like masturbation, which is the weirdest. It's the weirdest thing. Because why do college kids have to? I mean, I'm not even saying just the porn. I'm saying without the porn, just the porn in their heads. Okay, they have to confess this to like maybe their cell group if they're lucky. Hopefully not a whole home group, but I've heard that before. Jesus, telling everyone, if I'm sitting in a room like that, I'm like, okay, I guess I should keep this to myself and never tell anyone because fuck that. I'm not going to tell everybody I touched myself. I mean, see, the thing is, I mean, if you're a mother, you've probably had children that, if you got a 3-year-old doing this, do you tell them to confess it to their sisters and brothers in the house? Do you do that? That's I'm not going to say if my kids ever did that because they might not like that. But I would say if my kids were to do that at 3 years old, I would say, "Honey, that's private. Go to your room. That's private, right?" Well, Xenos doesn't do that. Okay. They don't. They make people confess these things in detail. I mean, other things, especially, sexual sin and stuff. They don't get the whole, that's private. They just don't. They have, gosh, I could go a while into how it's practically voyeurism, the way they make college students sit there and detail everything they did together. Sometimes the couple sitting there together and just humiliated in front of the group. And then they have the group is like, they get to ask them questions and tell them how it affected them. Like the video I told you before, how everyone gets to tell you how you affect them all the time, even strangers from other groups you never met. Is even worse with your discipler and your friends, Jay. Your roommates. Woo! It was hard. It was hard. It was hard having my privacy violated there. It's hard now to know even what is normal to tell another person. Like, oh, I'm allowed to keep that to myself. I didn't learn that from my Catholic church. So if you're in a group and they won't do this. This is their red flag stuff that they don't talk about in their first meetings that the lost come to that are squeaky clean. They save the weird shit like this, that if you even bring up a excommunication in a level 1 meeting, you'll get a tap. We need to talk. We'll talk about that later. Even a look. We're trained in there. It's tight. It's tight. So other groups do this. Doesn't even need to be religion. Watch out for how much they make you confess and what is reasonable. What is reasonable. And even their counseling, they don't even, I didn't know when I went to counseling there that they're allowed to take that information and put it in our files they have on us. Our private things we tell people, they have notes. They have our counseling session information available to our leaders in the home groups. Tell me what's wrong with the Catholics in their counseling. How is Xenos doing God better there with their Christian counseling? Something to think about. Watch for this stuff. And if you were treated bad in Xenos and you see this video, I really hope that you feel validated. And I care what happened to you. Tip of the day. Hope this helps somebody.